I promised I'd never say anything. I promised I'd forget it even happened. And I'm quite positive that most women would leave a man if they tried to have her arrested. Blah, 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 blah. Somebody expressing their emotions of how they feel does not mean that they're attacking you. Serious. They arrested him for strangulation, putting a domestic violence charge on his record, and I felt horrible.
Do you think there's an element of you were always in more control than you realized? But yeah, someone who was trying to basically play as someone that they were not is exposed. It's just so everyone's just gonna be like,
run away as fast as you can. Run even if it hurts. I'm not even kidding you. Your life depends on it, especially if you've already had suicidal thoughts in the past, like myself. Sorry for the wait for those that have been intrigued. My apologies. No, I have not been silenced. No, I am not scared. No, I was not paid off. I have just been very busy, and obviously in the background dealing with quote unquote someone trying to hack my LinkedIn, hack my Google Calendar, obviously, well, maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but having my WhatsApp hacked. So, all the works that you gotta do to get someone to, be a little scared and silence them. But that's not going to be happening. So let's start with this. Knowing the difference between compassion and codependency is so unbelievably important. But at the same time, you have to be kind of wary of compassion, as it can easily be used to manipulate and keep you in place, especially financially.
Why is it that somebody has to be needed in order to feel confident? Most people that like to feel needed like to have leverage so they could be on bullshit and the person can't leave them because they need them. Anybody that's comfortable, in my opinion, anybody that's comfortable and confident in themselves don't have to play these type of games and target their love options like this to feel secure. And these are the same type of people that like to make it appear as if you're the problem because you won't fit their mode and shrink to be what they want to be and shrink to size to accommodate them. But really, they're the problem.
It is absolutely terrifying if you are someone that deals with like financial codependency. That is a place I will never, ever bring myself to be in ever again. I don't care what the circumstances are. Never, ever, ever again. And I'm quite positive that most women would leave a man if they tried to have her arrested for being upset and triggering complete instability within her. But as empaths and those who are on a continuing healing journey due to childhood trauma, it can be very hard to ignore such huge red flags that someone without such, life circumstances would not, right? It'd be very clear for them, like, okay, this is not for me. Like, this is not healthy. And during counseling and therapy in the beginning of this year, I incorporated sessions with a spiritual coach. Oh my gosh, taught me so much about how I landed myself in this situation with a unhealed, masked, identified man who obviously has his own wounds as well. I learned that empaths often attract partners struggling with addiction due to our like innate need to heal and help.
Okay.
And nurture, causing a powerful emotional bond, which often leads to one-sided draining relationships, which is quite unfortunate. But after going through one hell of a traumatic, isolated home abortion, the traumatic events didn't stop, but it did allow me to understand that I needed emotional protection. And thank God for that moment.
This projector and their movements, the traveling that they was on. Somebody was doing, I'm telling you, they was real promiscuous, baby, outside this house, wherever the fuck it was that they, because I'm really getting like a house, like a living together. They was on some other shit outside the house. You did not know this person. Night of Swords energy, and they thought this shit was cool. They tried to defend this shit, even with you walking away from them, knowing that they was being immature and creating challenges for you. I kid you not, they still tried to defend this shit.
Enters in my best friend, who I called in an extremely heated fight caused by a night of said addictions that I regret partaking in my damn self, as I really just wanted to get to know his friends and enjoy our night and, just be normal, whatever their normal was. But the respect of our relationship was so neglected. But this was my first time really noticing it. And I remember overhearing them asking him about like another woman. And I was already so sick and tired of hearing about his ex and just everything they were dealing with, behind closed doors, which was unbelievably toxic and just ridiculously like insane to even be operating in that manner. But again, codependency issues, more on his side, in my opinion. So they're bringing this up as if I'm literally not even sitting there. And I just remember in my head just getting so annoyed. And spoiler alert, this is not going to be the first time that this happened. This happened 2 more times throughout our relationship, actually, making it blatantly obvious that these friends clearly gave 0 F's about our relationship, let alone me, which, you know, in a normal world, your partner would correct that. But when dealing with a secretly insecure man that hides behind status and wealth, those people pleasing tendencies never truly disappear. So before I know it, I'm spiraling. I am upset. I'm distressed. I am annoyed, and I am completely invalidated, gaslit, and triggered into like the depths of my shadow self. And luckily, I had my friend on the phone during this entire fight, like I said, because this is when I began to realize that without a witness, especially when I started thinking about how much he reminded me of my own mother, narcs will do just about any and everything to protect their reputation and mask that they have to uphold due to obviously their appearance of being like a hero. Do you even know what it's like to get a grown, almost 40-year-old man at the time to hang up the phone with the police? It was absolute turmoil. It was horrible, and you really have to be a pretty strong woman to be able to do that successfully. But even in that moment, I remember all I could think is the police cannot show up. They will see his eyes and be able to see he's on cocaine, he's drunk, he's not in his right mind. And even with tears like streaming down my face, with my blood absolutely boiling, I am still thinking of his own well-being over mine, literally over mine. And like the more I processed this and dissected it in therapy, it's just insane how clear a therapist can see it, right? So narcs need control. They crave it. They desire it subconsciously most of the time. And just to be clear, every single one of us have some sort of like level of narcissism. Even kids, they have to, so that they're able to be like taken care of, which is why they're gonna like cry and be like, hello, I don't care that you want to go watch that TV show. I need to be fed and I need you to change my diaper right now. So if an adult is doing that, yeah, that's like narcissistic. At least that's how it would be perceived. So when I say this, also know that like this is not diagnosed, right? Like, let's be very real. These are just traits that we as humans go through and can see if somebody is inhibiting these type of behaviors. So they crave it, they desire it. Subconsciously, most of the time, they don't even know. They genuinely don't even know, because a lot of that does stem from childhood. So I knew this, but I was very quiet about everything. I was observing this relationship like a freaking psychological class.
One of my toxic traits is letting people think that they're playing me, and the whole time I'm just observing. I'm just seeing how long you're going to go with this act. Like how long you think you're manipulating me for, how far you're going. Whole time I'm already on game. I'm just sitting back. I'm just chilling. I'm just watching.
And because I'm someone who really cares to understand the dynamics of things thoroughly, even if unfortunately it causes me harm, which is a flaw I'm definitely working on. Don't worry.
It's like you know something about somebody. You know somebody is gay or down low or gay for pay or something. Or you know somebody has an STD hanging there and goes with a page of wands. It's like you know something about somebody and they're upset with you because they know that you know this. Yeah, people pleasing shit. They're promiscuous shit. For principles, yeah, you could be struggling financially. Or like I'm saying, like even if you're not with this person no more, say this is your ex and you broke up with this person because you found out they were down low or whatever the case may be. It's like now you're trying to recover because this person was stealing something from you or using you. But it's just like, I don't know if this person's scared that you're going to tell their secret or something, because it's just like.
But regardless, even though I was able to end the call with the police while mentally struggling and physically struggling to fight off a man completely out of control, they still showed up. And they asked questions and assessed the situation. And honestly, just thank God my friend was on the phone the whole time to hear everything that was happening, which honestly, from the other side of the phone, she was probably like so traumatized, like what the hell is going on over there in that house. But side note, if this does happen to you, describe what's happening just in case you're like not on FaceTime for that witness to, you know, be able to recall, especially if you can't even like remember what's going on because you're just like in so much distress. But when I tell you, I cried all night and I cried all morning. Why? because they arrested him for strangulation, putting a domestic violence charge on his record. And I felt horrible. I blamed myself. I thought it was my fault, even though I wasn't even the one that called. But that's what I realized empaths do, and we blame. We literally blame ourselves for anything. Even when we know it's not our fault, we will internalize that blame without even saying anything. So looking back, I remember thinking, this is the end. I've had the abortion. There's no way we're continuing after this, right? It's like, okay, traumatic abortion, and now, domestic violence. It was just like, yeah, this needs to be done. But to my surprise, at least then, that wasn't the case. But now I see very clearly why that happened, because the only reason he even cared to apologize and continue the relationship was so no one knew what he did to me. I promised I'd never say anything. I promised I'd forget it even happened. And why? Because of the savior complex empaths all have, which took me like a long time of really understanding what was like being told to me in that month of therapy, because I just felt like, what do you mean? Because when you're evaluating something to see like where the faults were in places that you don't realize are faults, especially when you think you're just like doing your best and trying your best, I promised I'd forget it. Like, why would somebody promise that, especially if it's actually very like traumatizing to their own like mental health, let alone their heart? But this is something I really never truly understood. So basically, empaths often see addicts as like potential rather than the reality of like who they are. So trying to rescue and fix them actually feeds the empath's identity, but like unfortunately, it always comes with a great emotional cost. A cost that is limitless. A cost that is impossible to pay back. A debt that hardens the soul and slices the heart. A debt so big, constantly leaving you emotionally in the negative. I mean, it is deep when you really break it down to, again, evaluate and see what's going on with you to manifest and attract these types of situations, right? So just listen, watch for red flags early. And when I say this, I'm talking secrecy, denial about addictions, inconsistent behavior. Love bombing is the biggest one. It's just not a movie, okay? If someone is literally giving you a dessert that says happy anniversary on your first official date, clearly that's love bombing. Back then, didn't necessarily see it that way, but it is. That's exactly what it is. Even overly dramatic past relationships is definitely a sign to explore and not ignore. Definitely ask like direct questions about like sobriety history, current habits. This is something I did. Like, I remember doing this because I was really, well, at least at the time, I really wanted to go to couples therapy. So I was doing my best to kind of like do that myself, because he was kind of so avoidant of the whole thing and defensive and just honestly just not working as a team whatsoever. This is something that just ended up being me left in like excuses and avoidance and just really not wanting to like answer certain questions. This honestly is not meant for you, meaning you, the empath, to fix or control or to try to help, because it will just leave you absolutely drained and disconnected from who you are and causing whatever issues you may already have, especially mentally, to be amplified. So if you feel like you're going crazy, trust me, you are. You are, and it is caused typically by the environment. Don't get caught in the comfort of that environment. You will slowly start to wither away, leaving you to think it's all your fault, especially when it comes to a halt. Run away as fast as you can. Run even if it hurts. I'm not even kidding you, your life depends on it, especially if you've already had suicidal thoughts in the past, like myself. They will truly, I'm not even kidding you, they will truly make them worse.
When you get angry, you like to make people feel bad.
You did all the time as well. But
No, I
apologize for
didn't.
the comment about
I
it.
didn't.
I hope the next person.
I didn't even start the dig. I didn't. I didn't start it. I did not start the digging. I did not. You don't fucking want me. Blah 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 blah. Somebody expressing their emotions of how they feel does not mean that they're attacking you. Serious. You don't express any emotions. You just get mad. You don't know how to express your emotions because anytime you get uncomfortable, you walk away. No, you are just an angry person. You are an angry person. You are. And it's crazy that you don't. And really, no, I'm not gaslighting you. If you really want to sit here and think that you don't have anger management or anger problems, that is actually really alarming. Like, you really actually need to notice that you do. And it's not even about me. I'm saying this because I care about you and your fucking future. And for you, you're going to see it as gaslighting, manipulation. But in general, as much as I have flaws, I have things that I need to work on. I'm glad that I am able to look at them and be able to rectify them. You ignore them. You see it as an attack. It's not an attack. You're welcome. It's genuinely so unnecessary. You don't need to be like that. It's just not needed.
On purpose. And not to say they're doing this on purpose, again, subconsciously, it actually gives them like a sense of control and happiness to see you down, which is insane. But again, subconsciously, it's like a validation for them. It's like, yeah, exactly. I'm the one that's in the right. I'm the one that's good. You're the one that's bad. And that is just the black and whiteness of how they operate.
I'm disgusting because she told me to ask you that. You are, because you're getting mad at me for what? Because I didn't know. I said, yeah, I signed it. She said, why did you sign it? She said I shouldn't have signed it. She said I shouldn't have signed it. And now I'm disgusting because somebody's telling me that I shouldn't have signed something. I didn't think it was a big deal. I said I'll ask him and see what it is because I don't think there's any legal ramifications on it. And now I'm disgusting. Right, but because I told her that I didn't read anything, she said that that's sketchy and I should ask you more details on it. So I said that I would.
As well as giving them the freedom to justify the way that they disrespect you on a daily freaking basis. I mean, the examples that I have.
Like, listen, you already don't like me. You already hate me. You already have shown me you don't love me. You've already told me all of these things. Yeah, because you wanted to dig at me. I can dig at you too. Because you love to dig. You love to dig and say, oh, yeah, well, whoever you're with next, I wish them the best of luck. You love to say things. Yeah, but you don't need to say that. But this is your behavior that you literally don't care to look at.
I mean, I genuinely got to a point where it was like every time I say something, he says that I lied or that I said something else. Like, the gaslighting is so crazy. And I'm sure so many women have been here where it's just like, okay, I have to record fucking everything. Because if I don't record, I'm going to be seen as a liar and a deceiver when in reality, you're genuinely not even like listening. You don't even care. And that's because the need to be right is all they care about. Like, it's actually really scary. Just listening to some of these voice notes, it terrifies me.